Hey, thank you so much for tuning in to Instrumental Intel. I am your host, music producer Chick with Beats, and today's episode is still continuing to celebrate Hip Hop History Month. We're going to talk about hip hop history in the making because there are people still building the culture right now. So I'm going to highlight some conversations that I've had with P General and Ashton Stevens. So I'm excited to be bringing this episode to you. And before I go ahead and get started, of course, I've got to give a shout out to my home station, Grander Radio out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. And with that, let's go. Hey, I'm a Chick with Beats, multi-genre music producer and strategist to indie artists and labels. Visit chickwithbeats.com for resources for artists and instrumentals in various genres available for songs, vlogs, blogs, podcasts, themes, TV, film, commercials, and more. Once again, that's chickwithbeats.com. That's ACHICKWITBEATZ.com. Let's make something happen. With me in the virtual building, P General. Now, for those who may not know, I've had the pleasure of having him on my previous radio show, Music Marvels. But now, since it's your first time on Instrumental Intel, could you kind of give the people a taste of who you are and how you got into music?
It's your boy P General, the Bush Kept Secret, aka Bangkok Fam #1. And I'm here, I don't know. I've been I started music in around, I want to say 2009.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to say 2009. It was by accident. I always been a fan of music. Like my oldest brother, God bless the dead, was a DJ. So I've been exposed to all genres of music at an early age. So I became a fan. And I've been away from the neighborhood for a quick second. So I decided to pop up in the neighborhood one day. And, the family was hanging out and everybody was kicking it and everything. And I said, let me run to the liquor store real quick and come back to match what they had going on already. As soon as I got back, the rain started coming down hard. No warning, no drips, drizzles, nothing. Just straight thunderstorm. And everybody started scattering and going where they was going and whatever they had going on. And I was like, damn, I just came outside. So I was my man Nutso. He was doing music. I forgot at this time he had the whole setup in his house and everything. I just always used to just listen to CDs they had circulating throughout the neighborhood. So it's actually when I actually get there, I'm like, oh damn, I forgot all about this stuff. So we start drinking and everything and talking and I told him, put some of your music on while we kicking it. He put his music on and we there, we just having a good time. And then I don't know what told me to tell him, say, put a beat on. And he looked at me, he laughed. And he's like, put a beat on. I was like, yo, put a beat on. And I sat there for about 10, 15 minutes, probably even longer, knowing what I want to do, but didn't know how to do it. So I asked him, could you just give me a line? I didn't even say a bar. Like, I didn't even know the terms or anything. Like, I just, could you give me a line, a sentence? And he gave me one sentence. I don't remember what it was. And we did 3 songs that night.
Wow.
Yeah, for one sentence. He gave me one sentence and I got it. I still didn't know how to count the bars, but he would chop me at 16. That's how we was doing it. I finally got it down packed, but I didn't know how to count the bars.
Wow.
So that night, I must have left there like about 2:00 in the morning. And I went home and I forgot all about it. Like it was just like, oh man, it was just something for me to do that night or whatever. So I disappear again and I come back a little while again to the neighborhood and DJ Lunchbox, we're walking going to the same place, but he's coming from across the street and I'm already on one side of the street going to where we going.
Okay.
And he's singing something to me. And like, when you heard something before, you still know where you heard it from?
Yeah. He
was rapping the verses that I laid that night. They done made copies of the CD and everybody got a copy except for me.
Wow. Man.
So it's, that's how it happened. Basically, it was an accident. I didn't if I would have went somewhere else, I probably wouldn't have been doing music.
Wow. I mean, okay, I can only imagine like the surprise, like, man, this sounds familiar. Wait, I said that. Like, how did that make you feel in that moment? It was dope at first. Cause I'm looking at him and I'm like, he's rapping it word for word. And I start nodding my head all in unison while we walking, going, connecting. And I'm like, yo, that sound
I'm thinking he's rapping somebody else's stuff that I've done heard somewhere before. And I'm like, hold up. And then he start laughing. And I'm like, yo, hold on. How you heard that? He like, you know, I heard it. I got a copy. I'm like, copy. Just they done made CDs, they done copy CDs and all that throughout the little neighborhood. And people knew I rap before I knew I rap. Like
that is wild. So I guess from that point, like when did you decide to just put your foot on the gas and go for it?
I think from the reaction that I got from them, like, damn, they really liked it. Like, you know,
yeah.
So I'm like, damn, maybe I could, you know, let me try something else. And then another one of my partners named Munch, he introduced me to this guy named KD, who had Underworld Studios, which was in Brooklyn. And he took me there one day, and I just liked the vibe. I like everything. I just like, you know, man, I just liked everything about it. All the buttons and the lights and everything. And that just became addictive.
Wow. Okay. So, with that being said, so you had mentioned like you had him put on the beat. You know, he gave you the line. How do you feel you draw from inspiration now compared to back when you first started, like in that moment?
I'm motivated by you know, other musicians. You know, it doesn't really matter the genre. I don't just listen to rap. So it's like I don't know. Dudes like I'm part of a group called the Bangkok Fam, and they always busy. So that keeps me motivated. You know, like.
Yeah.
Don't want to be left in the back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody constantly working, so that keeps me. Even though I've been away for a second from it, you know, I've still been doing features and shows here and there and stuff like that. But it's like, you know, the people around me keep me motivated. You know?
Yeah, that's what's up. Sorry, you mentioned like how you got started. You didn't even know like the lingo to call it bars or that it was supposed to be 16. But I personally feel like some of the best songs kind of come from that, you know, like when it's just that raw energy. So what do you think gave you the courage to just go for it while you basically knew that you didn't really know a lot about it, but, you know, you still had the guts to get in there and record without having the background?
I don't know. I just liked it because, like I said, I always was a fan of music. Like I used to buy all the magazines. I used to have stacks and stacks and stacks of magazines. I used to like to read the back of the CD, see who produced what, who wrote what, and it's like I always been a fan. But it's like for me to actually do it myself, it was like, damn, I didn't know that I can do it. And I was just like, shout out to, you know, Yugi also was like a good mentor to me. He's from Japan, and he taught me a lot also. Like, you know, and he showed me, somebody tried to show me how to count bars. I don't remember exactly who it was because, man, so many people, I've been around so many people that do music, that's been doing music before me, that everybody tried to teach me how to count bars. And I never got it. The way I did get it is KD from Underworld Studios told me like, yo, that's not one bar. That's 2 bars right there. So I would say something, he would try to say something to me and he'd be like, that's 1 bar. But I always felt like when he was saying it to me, it was he wasn't finished saying what he was saying. If that make any sense. I was like, wait, it's supposed to be more. And then now he like, that's 1 bar. So then now when I say, okay, boom, 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 he like, now that's 2 bars. So, you know, I never even changed it. I never tried to change it. It became an advantage, a writing advantage for me. Instead of having to sit there and write 16 bars, I write what I think is 8 bars in my head, but it's really 16 because I'm writing them by 2s.
Okay. You know, that makes sense. It makes a lot of sense because I get what you mean because it kind of depends on your flow and how you counting it. And I think that a lot of times in your head, the way you envision it is what makes it snap. So like it would be a lot different if you did know how to count it and you wrote it specifically for that way, but you might get a better result by just doing it the way you hear it in your head. I think that's really dope.
Yeah, it is. And when it's, you know, when you look at it, it's less writing on my part.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what would be what would be 16 to you? It would be 8 for me the way I write it.
Wow. Okay. So, you know, with this in mind, do you try to apply any techniques or do you just do it the way you hear it in your mind? Like when you're doing the whole songwriting process and writing your lyrics?
No, I'm used to it now. The way that I didn't, obviously I didn't learn the traditional way to count the bars, but it became more comfortable for me. So I never even tried to adjust it. I just write that way now. That's the way I write.
Yeah, that's what's up. So do you have any advice to offer anybody who might be kind of struggling, thinking that they need to fit the mold? Because what's that one quote, like, learn the rules like a pro so you can break them like an artist. And I think to just already get to that part to where you can break rules is kind of where that magic happens. So what advice do you have for somebody that might be struggling with that, too busy like worrying about, what traditional structure is instead of just letting the creativity flow?
Yeah, that's basically what you just said. You just got to let your creativity flow. Like you're not going to know everything right away, but you just got to do what works for you. I don't say to totally break the rules and don't, follow tradition in a sense. That way, the song structure will come out totally different if you don't. But I feel like if you just keep working at it. Everything doesn't work for everybody. So it's like what may work for me may not work for you. So you just got to find where you're comfortable at and just stick to it. Yeah. That's it. I don't really, stick to it. If you may not learn like 9 + 1 is 10, 5 + 5 is 10. It's more way. 8 + 2 is 10. It's more ways than one to do it. It's not necessarily the wrong way. It's just it's different. Yeah. It's more than one way to get to where you're trying to get. You don't have to follow or be frustrated if you don't get it this way, because you just got to do what works for you. Work at it and practice at it, and you will figure it out. Either it would work for you or it won't.
Yeah, just got to be have the courage to try it, because you won't know until you do. Yeah,
and being different is nothing wrong with being different. There's really nothing wrong with being different. So people think you have to do the music 16 8-ball hook, 16 8-ball hook. You don't have to do that. You could just make the song how you want to make the song.
Yeah,
you can put the hook where you want to put it. It's your song. You can do what you want to do. You know what I mean?
Exactly. While we were talking about this, it kind of makes me think of Winter Wars and how Capadonna, like, I don't even know how many bars that was, but like sometimes they cut the hook short. So yeah, it wasn't like your traditional structure. It was just all this lyricism kind of jam-packed into the entire song. And for me, I think that's one of the things that actually made it stick out, compared to like some of the other songs that were out around that time, because my brain, like how you listen, your brain kind of gets used to certain things going in certain places. So, that little shock to your system, it kind of jolts you into listening a little bit more. So
yes. And if you're doing something right, then there you have it. You just got a fan by doing stuff your way.
Yeah, I feel you on that, because I think that's a lot of the complaints that we hear from, let's say, I want to say maybe the seasoned hip hop crowd. A lot of times they say, oh, today it sucks. And I don't think that's necessarily the case. It's just, as far as the mainstream goes, we're not really seeing as much difference. Nobody really has their own identity. I shouldn't say nobody, but most people kind of sound the same from what you hear on the radio. And I think, back in the day we had that, but now we don't.
I think it always was like that, personally. I think it always been like that. Anybody that listens to the two different genres of hip hop, it's rap and it's hip hop. So it's like, I really don't. I don't know. It's man. I don't know. It's almost like with Freeway. Like, he doesn't rap the way you would. Like, he rhymes his word like every other word or something like that. Like, it doesn't. It's not traditional, but it's dope.
Yeah.
The way he does it, and it's like, now you was like, damn, I wouldn't even. Why he? Like, what is he saying? And then when you listen, it's like, oh, I see what he doing. Yeah. And that's what makes it all unique with his, that's what gives him, And as far as, the identity goes, everybody is just trying to do what they think will work. So if they see, I don't know, any one of these guys, they see somebody doing something, they figure, okay, this is the way that I have to be. It's even down to the dressing, to everything. Like you said, the identity is crazy. There's very few people that do what works for them, and they go against the grain. you know. But the problem with that is it's like everybody is trying to do what they think is going to work. Everybody want to sound like what they think is working. Now it's even with the Detroit flow now that everybody like, you know.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, it's nasty, but it's always been like that. It's always been like that. And as far as, you know, the radio and stuff, you know, they gonna pump a bunch of BS, you know. And like you say, it's not that it sucks. It's not for us. That's all it is. It's not for us. I find myself nodding my head to some of the music when I get a chance to listen to it, but I don't listen to it often because it's not for me. You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And I think we're kind of like on the verge of a shift because most of the things that people are doing, I guess, like to remain relevant or popular, it's not really selling the way it used to. So I'm thinking, I mean, granted, it's probably not going to be on a major scale, but now is the time for people who are unique to kind of break through a little bit because it's got to cut through the noise. So yeah, I'm always a advocate for artists doing their own thing, regardless of what they think may or may not sell. But yeah, like since the same old is getting tired, people are getting tired of hearing it. So yeah, it's time.
It's getting tired. You know, like how much dancing could we do? Like, you know, like
right.
How gangster can we be? Like, you know, it's just it's just about finding what works for you, man. And you know, I don't know. It's just balance. It doesn't. You can tell when stuff is forced, and that's me. I don't like to force nothing. I don't even feel right writing it down, knowing that I don't do that. Why I'm gonna sit here and write that? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Some people do it with ease, man. Some people have great imaginations, you know. Yeah. But me, I just pretty much do what works for me, man. I don't ever know what I'm gonna do. The beat dictates everything what I'm going to do. I don't have no pen and pads. I mean, no pads full of raps nowhere laying around. And I don't know what I'm going to do until I listen to the beat. And the beat tells me where I'm going to go all the time. I don't know how to do that. Like how some people could sit around and write raps with no music and just focus in and zone out and I can't do that. I need to listen to the beat and I write as I go along.
Okay, so that way you kind of get a fresh take every single time, and you know you're not kind of doing a cookie cutter thing. So, what are some of the things that you look for? I guess when you hear a beat, what catches you first? Like drums, melody, combination, or is it just like the mood?
Everything. I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. I guess I know it when I hear it. You know, that type of way.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, I don't know. I can't really describe it. I can't put my finger on it. I can't describe it. I don't like to rap too fast or I don't like to rap too slow.
Okay.
I personally think I found my pocket where I'm comfortable at.
All right.
And, you know, I don't like to rap 100 miles and then I don't like to rap slow where it's like I'm dragging the word. No, I just like, like if you're driving in your car, you play the music, but you don't play it too loud. You play it just enough so you can hear yourself think.
Yeah.
That's the kind of music that I like to make.
Okay, I feel you on that. So like once you catch the vibe, you know that's the one and you just go at it. Like,
and then I'll be like, yo, this one, I want this one. If it depends, like if I'm sitting down listening to sitting down with the person right then and there, he going through beats or they going through beats, I'll be like, okay, yeah, I like that. What you doing with that? Somebody that belongs to somebody right there? And if not, then I'll be like, yeah, email me that one. It's just you hear it. I don't know. I like melodic, just laid back.
Yeah.
Hear yourself think beats. Like, you know, it's not loud, it's not low, it's perfect, you know?
Yeah, I feel you on that. So, all right, you already talked about like being in the neighborhood, being exposed to like your brother DJing and all that. How do you think actually being from New York has, I guess, had an influence or impact on your artistry as a whole?
I don't know. It's just being from here. It's not just because, you know, music started here, nothing like that. New York is just a different place. And I couldn't explain it. You'd have to be here to see it for yourself, to experience it. You can't just come and go. You have to be here for a minute and you'll understand. It's just like any other place. Every other place has their own unique thing about them, that what makes them them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just I listen to just the kind of music that I make is what I listen to coming up for the most part.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I just take everything that goes on around me. I don't, like I said, these are the things that you hear in my music. Is if I didn't do it, somebody standing right next to me did it. I seen it, I heard it, I was right there. It's not like I'm making these things up. I use a little bit of nonfiction to paint certain pictures, and but for the most part, man, everything you hear is just me. So I don't know. I could be anywhere. It's just me being creative. If you put me in Atlanta or Ohio or wherever you want to put me, it'll be the same thing. I'll just sponge up my atmosphere and then ooze it out on the beat.
Oh wow.
You know?
I love it. That's a quotable right there. Because I gotta feel you on that. So I feel like a lot of times for me, if I travel, I'm from Kalamazoo, born and raised. I'm a native, but when I travel other places, just like you said, it's kind of like a sponge, and I feel like it kind of gets added on to the tapestry of like the foundation. So my first time in New York outside of LaGuardia was in 2022, and I spent a week with my cousin San Solo in Bushwick. And, just within that time frame, like that energy and everything, like I felt tremendously influenced, in that moment while I'm there, we creating, making music and that sort of thing. But like, yeah, it's just something to be in different places and kind of soak up the vibes. And so, yeah, I was curious about what it was like being from there, kind of having all that energy at your fingertips at all times. Like, yeah, I mean,
that's because you're from not here. That's because you're not from here. That's why I feel that way.
Okay.
I'm sure. You go anywhere else, it'll be you go to LA and ask somebody about LA. They gonna tell you the ins and outs and everything, but it's not. It wouldn't be nothing extra to them because that's where they're from. They watch that for every day of their life for how many years? You know what I mean? So
is it that it's just a part of you, and that maybe you don't even recognize how it's influenced you? Because my music was different when I spent time in LA. DC, when I go all these places, I feel like, you get these, I don't know, like you said, you kind of absorb the environment. And I think everywhere kind of has their own essence, but maybe when you're in it, you can't really see it.
Okay, and it depends on where you're at also, because you said you was in Bushwick. You was in Bushwick. Bushwick is 24 hours. Like New York is 24 hours. Yeah. But Bushwick is always something to do. Like that's where a lot of the bars and clubs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's what. Yeah. So I mean, if you was in upstate New York somewhere, you would have a totally different vibe.
Gotcha.
You get it? Because it's like those places close down at 2:00. People just coming out of their house at 2:00 to go to parties and stuff like that and do whatever in New York, in the city.
Yeah.
So you was in a nice little melting pot, a nice little area, and. Those you easily inspired when you're in a certain place. Either which way.
Yeah,
it could inspire you to. It could inspire you to get up and do some music. It could inspire you to go read a book. It could inspire you to do whatever. It depends on where you at.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
Yeah.
So all right, you said that you've done some shows and stuff here and there lately, and just throughout your whole career. Are there any like super memorable performances that you've done or locations that you felt, that you just kind of always take with you, or when you reflect on it, you're like, man, this was something really special?
I would say California.
Okay.
Because let me tell you a quick story. While I was getting into doing the rapping thing in the studio and everything, I have never performed live. I was just basically trying to perfect my craft for the most part, as far as the creative parts go. And they had this place up here called Sullivan Hall, and it was open. It was on Monday nights. It's open mic, and you go take your CD, you pay your money, and you sign up and whatever. And it was a nice crowd. And I went there to watch Gangs perform one night, and I said, "Man, I'm coming back to do this shit next week." And I came back by myself. Nobody even come with me. Nobody was available, or I don't remember what it was. I know I got on the train and I went by myself. And coming to the stage, I was so nervous, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was so nervous that I was like, man, let me have a couple drinks to try to shake this shit out of me, like, get a little liquid courage or whatever it may be. And I tripped coming up to the stage.
Oh no.
I didn't fall or anything, but
Yeah.
I mean, so I was like, okay, now I got up there. Despite all of that, I did it. I messed up one time, but they didn't know I messed up because, that's one thing I learned. You only make it, they only know you messed up when you make it an issue.
Right.
You stop or you just do something. But if you keep going, nobody knows but you and the people that around you that know how the song actually goes or whatever. So I didn't mess up where, it was crazy. I just switched the words around by accident. Like I said, this word that comes next, I said it in front of this word or whatever. But nobody knew. I knew. So I was like, I didn't like that. Even though I came off the stage and I got love, I was surprised. Like, damn, I really did it. So I came back the next week and did it again.
Wow.
Right? And then my third ever time touching on stage was in California.
Wow.
And it was too late for me to be nervous. Like if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to think about it. Cause we had the show. Shout out to DJ Show Enough. These dudes I'm not sure if they called it something else now, but it was called Husky Radio. And it was their 7th year anniversary. They invited me to come out and perform. So I was like, you know what? I had just met them in April. I met them online, and then I went in California in April to shoot 2 videos and to do a couple radio interviews. And I met those guys was one of them. And they invited me back to perform at their 7th-year anniversary. And it's like as soon as I got there, it was a big crowd. It was huge. I didn't have no time to even think about being nervous or anything. As soon as I got to the door, the guy said, "Yeah, I know who you are."
Wow.
I know who I am. Yeah, right. That right there twisted me up. Because I'm like, how you even know? But anyway, he said, "I know who you are and who with you." I was like, "These 2 guys right here with me." We went in. As soon as I went in, the guy put a bracelet around my hand. And he said, you go over there. You artists and everybody go in that. It was a VIP area. And as soon as I went in, I got a drink. I didn't even get a chance to sip the drink. They was like, "Yo, you up?"
Wow.
So I was like, damn, it was that quick. They said, "Yo, you up?" And next thing I heard, "Coming to the stage all the way from Brooklyn, New York. Y'all make some noise." Oh, man.
Wow.
And it was so much love in there. I was like, damn. This is crazy. This is crazy. I got off the stage. I felt like if I was huge, like I had some CDs on my first CD. I said, let me just give them away to the crowd. Oh man, it was crazy.
Wow.
It was crazy. You know how you see a big artist and everybody just trying to get at them and get next to them, and it was like that. I was like, damn, that's crazy. That was the show that I said, okay, I could do this.
Oh wow, man, that's what's up. What an excellent story.
I gave the guy a CD, right? I gave the guy a CD, and he's like, "Nah, I got one already." I gave it to my mom's. I was like, "What?"
Whoa,
look,
that's what's up.
His mom was in the club.
That's what's up.
His mother was in the club. I said, "Oh man, shout out to Tabesco." That was his name. He out in California, man. Shout out to Tabesco. That was the first person I seen with tattoos everywhere. Like his mustache, his beard, his shape up, everything was tattooed. I said, "Oh man,
that's incredible." Well, okay, sorry, staring at the clock is looking me right back in the face. But before we close out, if you could let everyone know where they can keep up with you, what you got going on, where they can follow you, and if you got any shout outs you want to give before we close out, you can do that now too.
You can follow me at P General straight, no underscores, no nothing on Instagram. I'm not on Facebook anymore. Like I switched my phones and I don't know what happened. I just lost access to it. So I'm just strictly on Instagram. As far as what I got going on now, I'm just finishing up a project, but I don't even know if I'm gonna put out a whole project. But I want it done just in case. But I'm gonna release some music like next month. I'm working on the merch right now, and that's doing kind of okay. So I'm excited now to put out some music to see how much faster and more that this merch is going to go, because it's moving slowly. It's doing okay, and I don't have no music out. So I'm just, gearing that up. So about a month from now, I'll be releasing a single with Shuggy, the artist, called "Reasons for My Mood." When you get a shot, we get offline. I would send it to your email and let you hear it.
Okay.
And you can give me your thoughts on it. And that's pretty much it. Shout out to the whole Brooklyn, New York. Shout out to you for having me on the podcast. Shout out to the Bangkok fam. Shout out to the Back House boys. Rest in peace, Bam. Rest in peace, Zeke. Rest in peace, Too Much. Rest in peace to my Uncle Ralph, aka Boogles, just passed away. His service is tomorrow. And peace and love to everybody, man. That's it.
Back with me in the virtual building. It's been a while, but Ashton Stevens, who was on a previous radio show, Music Marvels. So since it's your first time on Instrumental Intel, can you talk a little bit about who Ashton Martin / Ashton Stevens is, and how you got started with music and all that good stuff?
For sure. So, of course, for us, it's kind of like a family meeting up again. But
yes.
For those that may not know who I am, I'm from Marianna, Florida, which is a small town outside of, like, you could say Tallahassee, Panama City-ish, kind of like the Panhandle line. I was kind of raised around music, so when I got into music, it was not really a surprise to anyone that's outside of my family. My grandmother was a opera singer. Honestly, I didn't know that for a while until I was adult, but she was actually an opera singer at one point in time. Got into the choir at the church, started moving heavily. They started their own choir sector, kind of like the all-star choir. And my dad did the same, following in her footsteps, except for he actually became a songwriter. He was a drummer. My granddad played the guitar. But even on my mom's side, she always kept a lot of music around. She loved music, R&B, soul. And as far as like hip hop, a lot of my older cousins is kind of where I got introduced into hip hop specifically. My dad was into hip hop too, but he was in a lot of different genres. But hip hop specifically, I fell in love when I seen people freestyle and battle rap. That's when I was like, ooh, I like this. And I came up in I'm in a weird position in my family on my daddy's side. So kind of like to give context, out of my grandmother's family, she had about 8 to 9 siblings. She had a lot of siblings.
Wow.
And everybody, all of her siblings, by the time I was born, had passed. I think she only had one that's left, and he even passed when I was like, before I hit a teenager fully. So all of my cousins and the people that was around, most people that related to me where I'm from, my grandma was their auntie. Like literally, like my grandma was their great auntie. Well, she's passed in 2020, but she was their great auntie. So I'm like in a weird position in my family because I got a lot of cousins that were like way older than me, and I came in at like a gap. So it was like by the time I was born, I didn't really have anyone my age. Everyone was kind of older than me. Until after me, of course, and then a lot of cousins were born. But up until that point, I kind of grew up. I didn't have any older siblings that I knew of at the time. But so I kind of grew up like, I guess, wanting to impress my older cousins or the older people that were around me. And music was the first thing that was like, got their attention. That was like, oh wow, this legit is actually good at that. Hear this little dude rap, listen to this little dude rap. It was kind of like, that's kind of how it started. And then it was like, oh, that's pretty cool, and then it moved into being able to like actually put my life into it. And as I got older, I noticed the need, I guess my purpose kind of was shown. And it was more so of like, okay, I see exactly where I'm supposed to be. I know that I have a thing about motivating people. I have a thing about influencing people. In the beginning, I noticed it in negative ways because I'm like, oh, snap, like I'm actually influencing people. I'm noticing this like early on, like I'm just playing songs with people and I'm hearing like, mind you, I said I had a lot of cousins and a lot of siblings come after me. So I'm noticing them like quoting my lyrics and I'm like, that may not be the best thing that I want to. Like it was true to me because at the time period, that's it was just my life. That's kind of how music always been. It was just my life. But it was kind of like, okay, something has to change. So instead of changing the music, I changed my life, because I would never like, I always was like, I cannot not be true to this. So let me make some changes in my life first, and then let me put this into the music. And then from there, we just been grinding. Like it started with just that thought, just the love for it, and then it turned into a brand, and then it's beginning to expound into even more than I could ever imagine that it'd turn into. So it's kind of how I got started and where I'm from, like my background.
Okay. Wow. What a story. And, you know, a lot of people say, okay, yeah, I came from a musical family, but man, that lineage you mentioned was just humongous and tremendous.
It is. And what's crazy is most of my cousins around me rap too as well. So people ask, like, it's crazy when people be like, oh, who's your influential rappers? And it's like, honestly, I do have main big stream influences, but honestly, it would be the people that was around me. That's really like, if you was to ask me who really influenced me, it was like my older cousins, or like my homeboys' older brothers. Like those were the people that really influenced me to rap. Like it was like real time.
That's what's up. So that's cool to be young, but still have like an old soul, just because of how you came up and who you came up around.
Sure.
Yeah, it kind of explains like the difference in your music compared to what you hear mostly on mainstream.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and yeah, that's not a knock to mainstream. You know, it all has its place and purpose. But yeah, if you could maybe talk a little bit about the transition into the new name.
Transition, yeah, for sure. So everybody know, but well, in the beginning, if you've met me anywhere between probably about 2014, 2015, to 20 last year. Yeah, you know, I went by Ashton Martin. And that name, I'll start with the background of that name itself. That name, Ashton, is my real name. That's my first name. Martin was actually given to me by a producer, shout out to J.E. in Pensacola. He came up with it originally just to have a play off of the car. Mm-hmm. And it was really just with him, but I hated it. I was like, man, I'm not just gonna be playing off a car. Like, no offense either, but I always thought in my head, I'm like, I can't play off another white man's name either. You know what I'm saying? Just being real with you, I can't do that. So we gotta have something else that's deeper behind it. And I was asleep one day, and I kept trying to think of the acronym for Martin. And as it was like in between 3 a.m. 4 a.m. I just woke up out my sleep, and my wife at the time was there, and I said, I got it. And she was like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, I got it. I got the name. I'm like, it's motivating, all relevant to inspire nations. Now I have no idea. Well, I know where it came from. It was God that gave it to me, but at the time I had no idea where that came from. I just woke up in the middle of the night and said it, and went right back to sleep. So I can imagine she was looking crazy. She was like, okay, all right. But that's where Ashton Martin came from. As I kind of got more into it, I realized that Martin actually is a purpose. It was never meant to be my name. It was meant to kind of showcase what I'm called to do. What's my purpose here through the music. And in short, what it really means is I motivate people who motivate people, or I inspire leaders. That's like my goal. That's the purpose behind it. Yeah. And so last year I had came to that revelation, and I've been wanting to kind of change my name over the couple of years, just because I'm sure you can imagine a lot of issues with SEO. I had issues between Apple Music and Spotify, because on Apple Music I show us one thing, Spotify show us one thing. So I kind of changed it to It's Ashton Martin at one point in time to kind of like help myself with SEO, but it didn't really help. You know, It still was the same issues and search issues. So I've been kind of want to change my name from there, but I really, really got a clear revelation last year of just your name is your name. You know what I'm saying? And then actually also another thing is having a child made me really want to put my last name in my actual name, because this is going to be the same name that he's going to carry. So I'm like, I really want something that is going to go directly to his name, and when he look at this name, he can say like, oh yeah, that's me, that's you know what I'm saying, that's my family. And so it was also just wanting to really just be myself from that point. I these past couple years I went through a lot of transitions, and I've hit the point of like, it's beyond just being an artist, a businessman, or a musician. It's just like I really genuinely just want to be myself at this point in my life. And And that's really what it represents, just Ashton Stevens. Now Martin, that's why I say people still say Martin, and the brand is still AME, because that is still the purpose. It's just that I'm not my purpose. My purpose is actually way bigger than me, but I am a representation of it. So, you know, that's kind of like the meaning behind the name change.
That's deep. Sincerely. And yeah, shout out to your little mini you. But yeah, so personally, I've actually been through a name change before, and that's always kind of a struggle to get people to switch over. But yeah, especially when you put it like that, I think that'll definitely stick. And, you know, even though it might take some people a while, I definitely see your purpose behind it. And I think that's a really honorable thing.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's gonna be some people that's gonna always call me Martin. Literally, I have siblings that call me that. So it's like I'm not expecting that to really change. And that's why I'm like, I don't really trip about people still using Martin. I just want to, like, when it comes to public display, like stage name, actually, like, you know what I'm saying, my stuff showing up somewhere, Ashton Stevens. But you know, if those will know, you know, it's Martin, so it's cool. It's no
either way you good.
Yeah, okay. Either way you good. Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, okay, you talked a little bit about you know, kind of the purpose behind your music. What do you do to kind of get into the creative process? Do you just kind of let the ideas flow, or do you have like a certain, I don't know, maybe habit or not really a ritual, but something that you kind of do to get into the process to be able to create?
To be honest, the answer is all of the above. I really don't I'm probably like the most chaotic person when it comes to creating. It's crazy because, and it's funny because I know people always have like their set thing they do when they record. Only thing that really stays consistent with me is the place most of the time where I record. Most of my music as of late has been done in this room where I'm at right now. And I'm usually sitting down. But if I feel the need to stand up, I'll stand the mic up, and I'll stand up if I feel like it just needs more energy. But most of the time, most of my recordings have been sitting down. And I think that's another reason why people say like your voice kind of over the last couple projects kind of sound different. And it's like, yeah, I got into like the sitting recording now. I feel more comfortable, and I feel like I can fluctuate and change my voice now a lot more versus it just being one tone. And I think that used to be because one thing I worked on early on, I was very monotone in rap. So I think I kind of overcorrected it a little bit. And so I went extra. And I was like, you know what? I actually kind of just want to go more back to that and then kind of be able to just change it when I feel, you know what I'm saying? Because that's my actual natural voice. I'm not naturally like super duper loud like that. So that's probably the only thing consistent. Anything else can change. I think now I record more in the mornings because I'm more fresh in the mornings now. But I think honestly, that's just because being a parent now. Like that's like the most free time that I have, honestly. So, and I may write and I may not write. Like there's been most of the time, most stuff I'll do, I'm a write it because I am a writer at heart. But there's been some songs that you're probably hearing and think that I wrote that I didn't write any of it. Like it literally just came off my head. Some of them take days literally to do. Some of it is literally like I can hear it, I get the thought, the process, create the song, and literally record the song in the same day. Wow. It's really, I always say I don't like to force it. So if I feel like I'm beginning to force it, I'll stop until it comes natural, because I feel like that translates into music, you know. And now I record at home, so it's different. Back in the days when I used to have to go to the studio, I ain't really have too much of a choice in it. Like I gotta get it done now. So however it comes out, that's how it's coming. That's what we keep it on record. But you know, I kind of have like the ability to be a lot more natural now. So that's kind of how I keep my creative process.
Okay. Yeah. So I really dig that variety. I just saw a post recently where somebody was talking about like how sometimes creating stuff, it just flows. It could be anywhere from 5 minutes to 5 years to finish something.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So, okay. Well, like doing it at home, you know, that's got to give you a certain type of relaxed feeling too. I know that's typically where I record. I rarely go into the studio. It's usually if it's for someone else's project. But yeah, it's just something about being in your own environment.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just more natural because it's like literally like you're right there. You're able to come back to something, though, if you like do it and then you're like, I want to change this up. It's easy. It's just cutting your stuff on, changing it up. I will say the downside is you can get too comfortable. So it's like sometimes I notice I'm like, okay, I could have really finished this out, or I was like very lazy on this record as far as like piecing it together. Like I know I could like literally rap this whole verse, and I just chose to like piece it together because I was lazy at the moment. So it's like it is a balance too of like still making sure that you're sharp on your craft, like not necessarily like slacking off, but taking breaks when needed to be taken, but like still staying on it though, still making sure you're sharp, your pen is sharp, your tone, you all of these things, because it's different when you're in front of people. You always present yourself as the best version of yourself. So it's like I'm grateful for that time period of recording in the studio, because it showed me how to record, the proper ways to record. It showed me to give your best effort, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But at the same time, home you're more relaxed. So I kind of was forced into it when I moved to Atlanta. I had my own equipment, and then once I got off my first tour, literally came back from the first tour, we was homeless, and so we was kind of transitioning around Airbnb, and I ended up having my equipment stolen out my trunk.
Oh,
so
man.
From those couple of years, I was like, I ain't had no choice but to go and record in somebody's studios. But it made me so much of a better artist because I came ready. Like I had to make sure everything was ready when I came to the studio. So it definitely did shape me into a better artist from that process.
Yeah, I bet that makes it even easier to collaborate with you.
Yeah,
So, it's just because you have that kind of experience. And speaking of which, how do you choose how to collaborate? Does it just kind of happen organically, or are there people that, maybe you're connected to, and the more you hear of each other, you just kind of gravitate towards each other? How do you go about selecting that?
For me, if it's my song, if it's my project that I'm working on, I say it like that. I kind of go by who I hear, or like it's relationship as well. Obviously, you want to have a relationship with the person that you have, want to make sure the chemistry is there. But I don't know. It's like I kind of hear the person. Sometimes it'll be a song that I start on, and me, like I'm the type of person, when I'm done, I'm done. Whether it's a minute or 5 minutes, like when I'm done writing it, if I feel like my part on this track is done, I stop. And so it's been some songs where it's like, okay, I only got like 45 seconds on this. Obviously, I need to have something to finish this track with. And we live in the days too where that's a song now. So
Yeah.
that's a song now.
Real talk. Yeah.
So it's like, I understand that too. But if I feel like it needs to be longer, that's where some of my features come into play. I reach out to certain people if I feel like the vibe fits what they already, or it's like I like a balance too, because I like to push people. I don't like them have people completely comfortable. So I like to keep something that's natural in their space, but at the same time, if I know it's something that they don't usually do, I'm gonna encourage them to really do it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, I like getting the best out of people too, and I think that's kind of like the producer in me as well. People always told me that I'm really good at like choosing people to be on songs. Like even if it's not my song, I can usually hear it, and like I have all these independent artists. I'll be like, bro, y'all two should work together, because that would be gas. I can literally hear it. Like I can hear y'all two coming together, and they would not normally work together, but or just certain producers with certain artists. I don't know. I just love the pairing. As of late, me and PA on the track has been working very, very closely together. And so I feel like where we connected at was just that work ethic itself. We both have a similar drive when it comes to pushing out songs. And I think naturally that's just kind of how it started. Like he really just started with me for features, so I'll kind of like get on some of his stuff, and he noticed, dang, you always are like the fastest to get it back to me, and I'm like, honestly, bro, it's probably just because I got my equipment right here. But he was like, nah, it's deeper than that. He was like, just your drive, you have the drive to complete it. And I tell him, like, when it's somebody else's project, bro, I treat it like it's somebody else's property. I wouldn't want to like borrow somebody else's stuff and not give it back. Like you want to give it back as quick as possible, and as quality as possible. So that's kind of how I always treat my features. And from there, he had a different, his style is totally different from mine. And at first I was like, for my projects, I couldn't really see us working together. I'm like, I don't really see it as far as my project. I don't see where it fits. But then we kind of start having more conversations, getting to know each other as people. And we kind of found that meeting point, and we're like, oh, okay, this is the sweet spot right here. We got it now. Like we got something now. So I mean, since last year, he's probably been the one that I've been working more consistently on, and even for like my next coming projects, yeah, we've been me and him been grinding. We probably got over like I don't know how many songs. We got a lot of songs, right? And yeah, I'm excited for what we got coming up for sure.
Well, that's what's up. I think, especially what you mentioned about getting to know each other and having the conversations. I feel like there's not really a whole lot of that going on anymore.
Yeah,
Like most people are just kind of chasing sounds and not really the chemistry and the energy before the collaboration. So I think that's really important. I'm really glad that you mentioned that. The whole purpose of this podcast is actually, to help artists. Because, I mean, we all have like these different experiences, different things that we can pull from, and we can learn from each other like that. So I'm really glad that you brought that up. Do you have any, I guess, maybe advice or suggestions for somebody that might be kind of struggling to branch out, to actually seek out that type of energy instead of just chasing sounds?
Yeah, for sure. My advice is don't be so transactional. And this is coming from a person who knows business as well. I'm a very, very is just as much as I am like this personal guy, I'm also a shark when it comes to business. So I'm telling you this as both of these guys, don't be so transactional. And I know for me in the beginning of learning how to network, that was my issue. I looked at everything as like a transaction. And then I grew to learn like it's really more about relationships, because that's what lasts. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you might meet these people and yeah, y'all might exchange information, but over the years you will look and see like, okay, the people that I actually build relationships for are the people that we both benefit from each other, and we both actually last longer, you know what I'm saying, with each other. It's a lot of people that I've met within these last 5 years. We may follow each other, but it's like I have no contact with them. Like, you know what I'm saying? I have literally no contact, and I'm hitting a point in my life I really don't have any desire for that any longer. Like I really want to build with people. And it don't even mean that we're gonna ever work together. It's just having a relationship with a person. Like I give you PA for example. I've known PA since 2019. I didn't work with him on any of my stuff until 2021, 2022, maybe even 2023, to be honest with you. We was like just building a relationship for that long, until I felt the time is right, until we've both kind of found where we meet at artistry, you know what I'm saying? So don't look at things just so transactional, and you never know. Like, just if you find somebody that you vibe with, that you feel the energy on that person, continue to build that relationship, even if you don't think that it'll benefit you in any way, shape, or form career wise. It's just it's about people. We are human beings first, like, and that even comes to marketing yourself. I feel like a lot of people, they chase the marketing of just wanting to build a following instead of building a community or humans that relate to you. You know what I'm saying? Because you look at the biggest artists, that's what they have. You looking when these big artists perform, like, I ain't talking about like the people that blow up every day. I'm talking about like the ones the titans of the rap game right now. If you go to their shows and you look at these people's face, it's something that truly connects. It hits different with them. You know what I'm saying? It's something that whole, like, it's a connection. So yeah, that's kind of how I think about it.
Wow, that's excellent advice. And I get what you mean. Excuse me, about the whole thing being transactional, like that, especially on Instagram, a lot of other social media sites and whatever. But I feel like there is the place that people will randomly send me music. I mean, not even so much as a hi, hello, I like what you do, I think you might like this. It's just like boom. And half the time, like, I don't even click it. Like, you haven't even introduced yourself. I just followed you back. You immediately bombard me. Like, yes, the relationship building is kind of a lost art. But yeah, I hope that people kind of find their way back to that again. I really do.
Yeah, I know my wife taught me that. Dakiri, she's like the relationship queen. How I look at her, she really knows how to nurture and build relationships, and I learned that from her, to be honest with you, when it comes to networking.
That's what's up. She's awesome, by the way.
Thank you. I agree. Coming from, because I think also, like, I had to learn a lot because where I'm from, and I was literally just having this conversation with somebody from Atlanta. They were like just in Florida, and it was kind of like talking about the people in Florida. He was doing like some salesman type stuff. I think it was just he was standing out in the front. Just, it was not necessarily salesman, but he was making people aware of their company, etc., and their cause. And he was like, man, Florida's cool, but like you get some very standoffish people. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of like that's the culture where I'm from. I'm like, that's why I understand people from like New York. We like connect instantly because you may not see it, but we're very similar when it comes to like, let me feel you out first. A person to like perform. And I always tell people, I'm like, bro, performing anywhere else feels very cake to me because where I'm from, bro, people would literally like folded arms, mug on their face, look at you, not vibe, nothing, just look at you, and then come up to you afterwards. You like, bro, I might have to fight this dude or something, and then be like, fam, that was hard, bro. That was hard. And it's just like, I don't know, this is our culture. Like, we just got like a very, in the beginning, it's very standoffish, but when we do open up and we rock with you heavy. Like, I don't know why it's like that. That's just where it's, and I had to like really shape that coming to Atlanta because everybody is so like open. Like, oh, this is what I do. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, almost in the sense of like, back up, bro. Like, I got you back up though.
Right.
So I had to really like learn how to like network, and it was like a culture shock for me in the beginning. And I'm like, okay, I get it. I'm learning networking. And then when I started, it became too transactional, and it's just like, you share this, I share this, or we connect on this, you connect on this, and I'm like, okay, so maybe this is what networking is. And then I begin to see her networking. She's like building real relationships. I'm like, how you do that? Like, and she was like, you got to nurture the relationship. You can't just follow each other and expect that this gonna just. I'm like, oh, okay, so this is how you know. And then it got from that to like just really at the space I'm at. I'm like just really wanting just relationship. I don't really care too much for anything else. Like, I really look for genuine people in any space, because I look at the people that like really lasted and really helped me in my career was just genuine people. That's really what it was. Like,
yeah, that's so important. And so, speaking of your career, I can't believe how quickly this time has flown by. So I'm again, leave the door open for you to come back. Maybe we got to do a part 2 sometime soon. But I can't let you get out of here without letting people know what's in the pipeline for you. And of course, like the new stuff you got coming out, new stuff that you've recently had out, where they can follow you, find you, all that good stuff.
For sure. So you can follow me on all platforms now. It's Ashton Stevens, ITSASHTON STEVENS. That's all my socials at this point. And music wise, any streaming services, Ashton Stevens. As far as what I got coming out, I have a continuation of my last EP. So the last EP I released in November, it was entitled Jubilee, Volume 1, and we have Volume 2 coming out this March. So definitely stay tuned from that. It's gonna be a continuation and an elevation from that project for sure. And I'm just say stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for a lot more to come behind that project as well. We definitely been working on this rollout for some months now, and I'm excited to roll it out. We're going, we got something planned for that for sure. So definitely stay tuned. AME itself, definitely stay tuned for new merch. I'm gonna get that back rolling. I know a lot of people been on my noggin about that, and I'm like, I've been trying to say, like, please be patient. We had a whole rebranding, like the logo is even different now. Everything is different in this now. So it's like it actually is now an enterprise because we merged our other sources of income and careers into AME now. So now it's more of an enterprise, and so as well as being a music artist, I'm now also into risk management. And I know people like, what the freak, how does those two go together? But it's like, bro, think about it like this. If you're an artist, you're on tour, you don't have insurance for your stuff, you're tripping off the rip. You're tripping. Equipment, all of my promoters that are booking artists, you wonder why you book this artist and they end up flaking and you don't get the deposit back, et cetera. Like, this is why I come into play with risk management in those areas. So we've been stepping into those fields with other sides of risk management as well. It's definitely a lot that we're gonna come out with more and speaking a little bit more. We're gonna we just want to educate. That's like the biggest thing. That's what the E stands for, AMB anyway. So just definitely want to educate our people, artists, independent artists, and business owners. You know what I'm saying? Like, because at the end of the day, if you're an independent artist, you are a business owner. And I think it needs to be more education on that for sure.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's what we got coming through the pipeline. For now, definitely stream Jubilee Volume 1.
All right, and that's a wrap for this episode of Instrumental Intel. I've been your host, music producer Chick with Beats, And I want to thank you for tuning in. Once again, as always, I appreciate the guests for coming on and sharing their insights. And I'd like to thank my home station, Grander Radio, out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. Make sure you come back next week. I got more goodness lined up for you. So till next time, you know where to find me. Tune in, tell a friend, and I'll see you then. Peace.